Now try it.
Hey, John, can you hear?
I can hear.
Is Norm going to be zooming in on Taylor?
Oh, let me double check. Let me look at my schedule. What's the name of the client?
Ebony Taylor, she's in person in the courtroom.
I see. Let me see the schedule. I'll go down and speak to his secretary and see if he's there, okay?
So are we ready for the judge then, or no?
Set up shop.
All right.
Hey, Jerry, I put Norm's secretary assistant, Miss Sarah, on it. And I told her you were the prosecutor and all that.
The court is calling the case of the state of Michigan versus Thomas Scott Kempenaar, case number 21-60142 FY. Counsel, your appearances for the record.
Jerry Faber on behalf of the people. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Faber. Oh, and I'm recalling now that Mr. Kempenaar was denied court-appointed counsel on this matter. Is Mr. Kempenaar here? Does not appear so. This matter was scheduled for a probable cause conference this morning. What are the people asking for, Mr. Faber?
The people, explanation for the defendant's absence, we would be requesting a bench warrant after the statutory 48-hour period has passed.
And I do find that this is an allegation of violence, therefore we don't need to do anything more than that in order to give the defendant notice and a bench warrant will enter. And the court is calling the case of the state of Michigan versus Tatiara Amor Eubanks, case number 21-60143 FY. Mr. Faber, you appear on this as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had any contact with Attorney Scott Peterson on this matter?
I recently found out, Your Honor, that it was no longer Don Bedley's case, and that Mr. Peterson had been retained. I did email the probable cause offer form to Mr. Peterson, but I have not gotten a reply.
Oh, well, Mr. Peterson certainly isn't here. You are not Miss Eubanks, correct? Well, this matter is scheduled for preliminary examination June 17th at 10:30 in the morning. I suppose Mr. Faber will leave it on the docket for that date, assuming that Mr. Peterson will contact the court to let us know how his client is proceeding. For now, we'll say no witnesses unless the court, or unless you advise the court differently. I'll make sure someone contacts Mr. Peterson to find out what happened this morning. And the court is calling the case of the state of Michigan versus Anthony Curtis McConnor Jr., case number 21-60140 FY. Counsel, your appearances for the record.
Jerry Faber on behalf of the people.
Thank you and good morning, Your Honor. John Grace on behalf of Mr. McConnor.
Good morning, Mr. Grace.
Good morning.
Have you had contact with your client?
I have not, Your Honor. I did double check Access Kent. He's not incarcerated. We've tried the number that we have and then a number that was given to us by the person that answered that phone. Unfortunately, no further information for the court.
The court has an address of 457 Highland Street for Mr. McConnor. Have you attempted to reach him at that address?
Yes, Your Honor, we have.
All right, I do note that the order for court-appointed counsel is dated just June 2nd. We didn't receive it until the 8th. I'm assuming your office didn't receive it until recently. So if you sent him correspondence Perhaps there's an excusable delay in the mail, so I think what the court is inclined to do, unless Mr. Faber objects, is leave this on for preliminary examination scheduled 6/17. We'll say no witnesses at this time unless the court hears differently.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you like that to be in person or by way of Zoom, just to double check?
Let's do it in person because
Gotcha.
perhaps Mr. McConnor's absence is due to technical difficulties. Right now,
Yes, Your Honor.
benefit of the doubt.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Along those lines, on Blue Banks, would that also be in person?
Yes. I will note, if you weren't aware, the court has moved into phase 3 of SCAO's phase reopening plan, which means jury trials can be conducted and we can have many more proceedings in person. All right, the court is calling the case of the state of Michigan versus Ebony Taylor, case number 21-60144FY. Is that you, ma'am? Why don't you come right up here to the lectern for me, please? All right, Mr. Faber appears on this matter. I have an order denying request for court-appointed counsel. That must be based on your income, ma'am.
I wasn't sure. I didn't know that until right now.
Okay, so when you were arraigned, we sent paperwork down to court services for them to make a determination as to whether or not you qualify for court-appointed attorney. And so it appears that you do not. We have to make a finding of indigency, and it appears that your financial situation is such that you don't qualify for a public defender. Do you intend to retain counsel?
Man, if I don't have to, no.
Well, at this point, you do have to because you've been denied court-appointed counsel. So will you be retaining your own attorney?
No.
Mr. Faber, is there an offer being extended by the state today?
The only offer that's being extended, Your Honor, is that the defendant were to plead as charged, he would take no position on sentence.
Are you employed at Spectrum Community Service full time?
Yes.
Ma'am, it is this court's strong suggestion that you consult an attorney between now and next week when your matter is scheduled for preliminary examination. It's set June 17th at 10:30 in the morning. The hearing is scheduled to be held for the state to prove that there's probable cause to believe that this crime was committed and probable cause to believe that you are the individual who committed it. I'll need you to have legal representation to run that hearing. Okay, we're all set for today.
You're all set.
Got separated from this new basis file. It was an email from court services. Well, the next thing we have docketed is 9:45, and that is Miss Burns. Ms. Burns is represented by the defender's office, but not you, correct, Mr. Grace? Oh, well, I have an order for court-appointed counsel. Do you have an appearance from? Oh, he's with the defender's office. Is he?
He's not with the defender's office now.
Okay. It doesn't appear to me that we have an appearance from Mr. Christie. No appearance.
actually court records indicate that he was appointed.
Oh, because there's a co-defendant on this, and Mr.,
Yeah, I received order for court appointment, Attorney Pierce has been appointed on this matter.
okay. Well, then we will wait until 9:45 and see what happens.
Mr.
Mr. Grace? Mr. Grace?
Morning, Attorney Piersky. Oh, you're muted.
Morning.
Morning. Do you need to speak with Attorney Faber?
No, we're all set.
Okay,
Thank you.
I think we're just waiting for your client.
Okay. Yeah, I had to sign all the forms yesterday. I'll send them over.
Oh, you did? Okay, I'll go ahead and get Judge Sturkenberg then.
Who do I send them, who do I send them to at the court? You?
Yeah, go ahead and send them to me because Jennifer Lindsay's on vacation right now.
I think I have your email.
whitem@kentwood.us.
All right. Just in case I don't have it.
Right.
Hey, John, your client Van Eck is at the jail on Zoom right now. Do you want to speak with him?
That would be great. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and put you in a breakout room.
Thank you.
Mr. Van Eck, we're going to put you in a breakout room to discuss this matter with your attorney. Attorney Grace, Anthony McConnor is signing in.
Oh, okay.
Are you going to need to speak with him as well?
Yes, I am.
So we'll go ahead and admit him and then get you into a breakout room. We'll probably just have you go back into the breakout room that you were just in.
Okay, thank you.
Is the jail going to sign back in with Mr. Van Eyck or?
Yes, I mean, I told him I would see him back in the courtroom.
Okay, all right. It might just take him a minute.
Okay.
Is that gonna be a waiver, John?
It is yes, it is. And I just need the affidavit and the search warrant.
I don't have the affidavit, but I'll forward you the search warrant right now.
Okay, thank you so much.
Anthony McConnor, can you hear the court okay? Anthony McConnor? Oh, there you are. Anthony, can you hear us okay? Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
I can now. Yep.
Hi, good morning. Sorry.
Morning. Your attorney, John Grace, is present. We're going to put you into a breakout room to have a conversation with your attorney. So look for an invite, okay?
Okay.
Attorney Piersky,
Yes,
I haven't received your paperwork yet.
I just sent it about 30 seconds ago.
Oh, okay. All right.
Jerry, I sent you my waiver documents on Burns.
Hey, Jerry. I also need the PCC form on Mr. Vanek, please. All right, thank you.
All right, it's my understanding that Anthony McConnor is here now. We previously called this case. That's yours, correct, Mr. Grace?
That is accurate, Your Honor, yes.
All right, the court is recalling the case of the state of Michigan versus Anthony Curtis McConnor Jr., case number 21-60140 FY. Mr. Faber appears on behalf of the state. Mr. Grace is here and his client is here
Yes.
now. So, Mr. Faber, is there an offer being extended by the state at this time?
There is, Your Honor, the offer that's been extended is upon successful plea as charged to counts 1 and 2 of the information. Count 3 and count 4 will be dismissed.
Mr. Grace, did you discuss that with your client?
What?
Your Honor, that's accurate. At this point, if it would please the court, Your Honor, we would respectfully request the court to stick with the game plan of the June 17 prelim in person at 10:30 with no witnesses. That way I can meet with my client and discuss the matter.
Okay. Did my clerk assist you in having a breakout room this morning? Because certainly that's
She
something to
did.
accommodate.
She did, Your Honor, yes.
Okay, but you need a little bit more time and consideration.
Pretty serious charges, yes, Your Honor.
Understood. All right, well, we will leave this on for preliminary examination, June 17th at 10:30. At this time, we will not plan on witnesses unless the court hears otherwise from counsel.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr.
Thank you,
McConnell,
Anthony.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
You can go.
Okay.
court is calling the case of the state of Michigan versus Ellen Burns, case number 21-60145 FY. Counsel, your appearances for the record.
Jerry Faber on behalf of the people.
John Piercy for Miss Burns. I don't see her though.
She was on Zoom.
She's at the jail, Judge, so I don't see her on the screen.
She was at the jail.
She's at the jail, in the jail, so I don't see her on the screen.
Oh, did you speak with her this morning, Mr. Piersky?
Spoke with her yesterday, Judge. We're all set to go, but I already faxed the form or emailed the forms to the.
Yeah, it looks like I've received a pre-exam conference form indicating preliminary examination has to be waived to preserve the above offer. There's a waiver of circuit court arraignment signed by you and Ms. Burns. And there is a bind over form also signed. And so that really is all we need then, Mr. Persky.
She's gonna, if you don't put her on screen, Judge, she's gonna say, what's going on, you know? You're gonna force me to go out to the jail just to explain it to her.
Well, the court has received the paperwork and that is sufficient for this court. So unless there's an objection by the people, we'll go ahead and bind this matter over, Mr. Persky.
Okay.
Do you, Mr. Persky, is that what you wanted to do?
I wanted her present. I told her that she would be in the courtroom, Your Honor.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I misunderstood what you were asking for. So we'll wait until we get her, I suppose. Is she? Okay, that's not a problem.
Thanks for understanding, Judge.
We'll just hang on to that one. Mr. Grace, are you ready with Mr. Van Eck?
Thank you. Yes, we are, Your Honor.
All right, this is the state of Michigan versus Barry Van Eck, case number 21-60146FY. Counsel, your appearances for the record.
Very favor on behalf of the people.
Your Honor, John Grace on behalf of Mr. Vanek.
And you are Mr. Van Eck out at the jail, correct? I'll have the deputy unmute you. You are Mr. Van Eck?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Is there an offer being extended by the state this morning?
There is, Your Honor, the offer extended is one successful plea to counts 1 and 2 of the information. Count 3 would be dismissed. And the defendant is also a drug sup and the habitual fourth. All supplements would be dismissed as well.
Is that the offer you discussed with your client this morning, Mr. Grace?
It is, Your Honor.
And how does he want to proceed today?
Thank you, Judge. We would like to waive this exam. We'd like to tender a plea of not guilty in circuit court to preserve this offer.
All right, Mr. Van Eck, you have the right to a preliminary examination in this matter. It's currently scheduled for next week, 10:30 on June 17th. The purpose of that hearing is for the state to prove that there's probable cause to believe the crimes charged were committed and probable cause to believe you are the individual who committed them. Your attorney indicates you want to waive that preliminary examination, so it will not be conducted in order to preserve the offer currently being extended by the state and perhaps continue negotiations in the circuit court. Is that what you would like to do today?
If that's what my lawyer said, yes.
All right. There are a number of forms that this court needs in order to bind this matter up to the circuit court. One is a bind over transfer form. The other is a waiver of circuit court arraignment. Does your attorney have your permission to sign those forms on your behalf in order to move this case along?
Yes.
Because I'm in.
Mr. Grace, if you can prepare those and submit this to the court, or anything further on this matter, Mr. Faber?
Nothing further. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, counsel.
Yeah. All right.
We were back in the jail on. All right, Mr. Persky, we'll just, we'll continue.
Your Honor,
Yes.
we're working on getting her right now. We did not know that she was scheduled.
Yeah, she wasn't on my jail list. I mean, either. I don't really know. So that's fine. The court is, we can accommodate. We'll be patient. As long as Mr. Persky is available, then we'll take care of this in just a little bit.
We're getting her right now, so.
Appreciate it, Judge. Thank you.
Yep.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I'm sorry to interrupt. Your Honor, Mr. Faber is going to resend the PCC form, and I also need the bind over as well, Mr. Vanek.
All right, I will see if my clerk can accommodate you on that.
Okay.
That form is also available as a SCAO fillable PDF from the SCAO website.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Your Honor, are you all set with Mr. Vanek?
I am.
Okay. Ms. Burns is going to be coming in on another screen because this courtroom actually is going to be used for 61st in a couple minutes.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out for her. I suppose we'll keep an eye out for Mr. Don as well. Mr. Persky, your client is here now. Do you need to have a breakout room with her before we recall this case?
No, Your Honor, we're set to go. Thank you.
Okay. The court is calling the case of the state of Michigan versus Ellen Burns, case number 21-60145FY. Mr. Faber appears on behalf of the state, and Ms. Burns is present at the Kent County Jail via Zoom. You are Ellen Burns, correct?
Yes.
Ms. Burns is represented by her attorney, Mr. John Persky. And the court has received information that the offer being extended by the state is if the defendant pleads guilty to counts 1 and 2, the remainder of the complaint will be dismissed, including the supplemental enhancements. Is that the offer that you discussed with your client, Mr. Persky?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. And she duly signed the forms indicating that.
All right. The form that I received indicates that she would like to waive her preliminary examination to preserve that offer.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Ms. Burns, you have the right to a preliminary examination. The purpose of that hearing is for the state to prove that the crimes charged were committed and that you are the individual who committed them. Your attorney and these forms are indicating that you would like to waive that preliminary examination in order to preserve this offer and have this matter moved up to the circuit court. Is that what you would like to do today?
Can I have a word with my attorney on that?
You may.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Persky, I can assist you with a breakout room with your client.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Do I need to have them push join?
They will move you.
Okay. Well, they're not.
Give them a minute, Ms. Burns.
Okay.
Deputy, you've got a breakout room invitation to move Ms. Burns in to have a private word with her attorney.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I need somebody to push join to move me. I need somebody to push join to move me to the breakout room.
Got it.
Thank you.
Mr. Grace, do you need a breakout room with your client?
I do, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. I'm going to have to move you to a different breakout room. And Deputy, I'm going to move Mr. Don into a breakout room with his attorney.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we are back on the record in the matter of Ellen Burns. Mr. Prisky, was that a productive conversation with your client?
Definitely was, Your Honor.
And how is she proceeding this morning?
She still wishes to waive the prelim, Your Honor, and the circuit court arraignment.
Okay, Ms. Burns, having gotten some clarification from your attorney, is it your choice then to waive your right to preliminary examination in order to preserve the offer being extended by the state?
Yes.
Okay, there will not be a preliminary examination in this court. Your matter will be bound over to the circuit court and the status conference will be set. I've received all of the paperwork necessary to move this case forward. It's signed by both you and your attorney. Do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
All right, anything further on this, Mr. Faber?
No, thank you.
Mr. Persky?
No, Your Honor.
All right, have a nice day. You're all set.
Thank you. You too.
Next, can we ask about a bond my bond getting lowered?
Well, Judge, I would approach that, but she does have a parole hold on it, so I don't know if that'd be counterproductive. But if it pleases the court, I'd ask you to revisit the bond. She was on parole at the time. I don't have a court service report. I can tell you she was on parole at the time. You set the bond at $75,000 cash or surety. She has 3 prior felonies. Perhaps something in a $20,000 range would be just as functional to hold her, or provide that she, or assure that she'll appear at any future court dates. Your Honor.
What is the status of the parole hold?
Well, Judge, the jail view says there's a hold on her. She saw her agent yesterday, and she signed parole violation waivers. So he's out of her hair. And if she gets sent back to the MDOC, then they deal with it. But from my information from jail view, that there's a hold still on her, and then generally for the 33 years I've been practicing, Judge, they usually keep it on you until you resolve your case.
Well, I set the bond so high at the time of arraignment because there wasn't yet a detainer in place. We didn't know what was happening with that. And I actually got a recommendation from KPD for no bond, which is, I didn't determine was appropriate in this matter. I think they have reason to believe she may be involved in other matters. So let's see what I can do. Mr. Faber, does the state have a position?
Given the serious nature of the charges and defendant's criminal history as indicated, he is a fourth habitual offender. I note that the prior convictions as early as 2018 were also for the delivery and manufacture of methamphetamine. She has a pending case in Oceana County, also a methamphetamine related case from 2020. All of those taken into consideration, I don't believe that the bond is excessively high. And we would oppose it.
Well, it is quite high because it's not $75,000 cash surety. It's $750,000 cash surety is what I set it at. So that is quite high, but I wanted it to be as effective as possible for KPD because of their concerns for public safety and risk of flight. I will reduce it to $75,000 cash surety, and that probably is still going to have the same impact.
Thank you for your consideration, Judge.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Ms. Burns. Good luck.
Thank you.
It is. All right, Mr. Grace, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Don?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, the court is calling the case of the state of Michigan versus Tan Don, case number 21-60110FY. So your appearances for the record, please.
Your Honor, John Grace on behalf of Mr. Don.
And you are Mr. Don out at the jail?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Faber, is there an offer being extended this morning?
There is, Your Honor. The offer extended on successful plea to counts 1, 2, and 4 of the information, all as a further defender. People are offering to dismiss count 3 and also dismiss a reckless driving case from the same date in Wyoming, Michigan, case number 21 ST 1012.
Is that the offer you discussed with your client, Mr. Grace?
Yes, Your Honor, that's the offer I've received.
And would he like to proceed today?
If I could, Your Honor, I had difficulty meeting with my client. Apparently, there was a malfunction on ICS. If we could maintain our prelim date for next week in person without witnesses, I'd be able to take some time to speak to Mr. Don.
All right, I'll note that this matter has been on in this court for about a month already, but I think if my memory serves, there was some issue with getting counsel appointed, and I think he might have even needed to undergo some medical treatment during that period of time. So We currently have a prelim scheduled for, well, I'm not saying that we do have a prelim scheduled because I think this was set as the prelim date. Let me just verify that.
I think Your Honor is correct now that you mentioned that, your judge.
And so you would like to have this set on for a prelim with no witnesses, or I guess we could call it a probable cause conference.
Yes, Your Honor, that would be very helpful.
Okay. Any objection, Mr. Faber?
No objection.
All right, that is what we will do. I do not have my clerk in here, Mr. Grace, and so I don't know if that will be next week. I don't know what date it will be. We'll have to generate that and get it to your office.
I appreciate that very much, Your Honor. Once again, I just need the PCC form and I will get that to the court as well as Mr. Faber.
All right. As I said, I will ask one of the clerks to send that over to you.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Everybody have a great day.
Thanks, Mr. Grace. You too.
Is he full time there? Are you all set?
I'm not sure.
With Mr. Don, yes, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Morning, Mr. Kirkhoff.
Good morning.
Court is calling the case of the state of Michigan versus Donati Quinn, case number 21-60137FY. Counsel, your appearances for the record.
Jerry Faber on behalf of the people.
Jeff Kirkhoff on behalf of Mr. Quinn.
And you are Donati Quinn?
Yes.
Am I saying that correctly, Donati?
Yeah.
Deontay. I had it all wrong.
It is, well, it's spelled Donati, he actually pronounces it Deontay.
Deontay.
Somewhere along the line, he screwed up the spell.
All right. Mr. Faber, is there an offer being extended this morning?
The offer, Your Honor, as it stands right now, would be to continue negotiations with the circuit court.
That is correct.
How would your client like to proceed this morning?
We would like to waive the hearing.
All right, Mr. Quinn, you do have the right to a preliminary examination. That would be a hearing where testimony will be taken. It would be the state's burden to prove that there's probable cause to believe that the crimes charged were committed and probable cause to believe that you are the individual who committed them. Your attorney indicates you want to waive that hearing in order to continue negotiations towards a global resolution in circuit court. Is that what you would like to do today?
Yes.
All right, there are a number of forms that the court needs.
We've executed the waiver for the remaining.
All right, I think I'll need to provide you with the bind over transfer form. You may approach Mr. Kirkhoff if you would like to have your client sign this. Thank you.
And I have the waiver certificate also with it.
Thank you. All right, the record should reflect that the court has received a signed copy of the bind over transfer form as well as a signed circuit court arraignment form executed by the defendant and his attorney. And this matter will be bound over to the circuit court. Anything further, Mr. Faber?
No, thank you.
Mr. Kirkhoff?
No, thank you.
All right, we're all set. Have a nice day.
Your Honor, Mr. Gannon needs to be set for a probable cause conference.
Yes, he does. We didn't have an additional date set on his matter. I told Mr. Grace that we just generate it and get it sent out to him. All right, Mr. Faber, I guess that's it for the morning.
Have a good day, guys.
All right, you too.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, I saw Detective Willem in the cry room. I didn't know if he needed something. Doesn't appear to be there now.